Yeah, I mean, the writer's strike kind of hit us too. We had no one to write our cold open today. We just had to make it up on our own.
Yeah, it's tough. It's going to be like the Wolverine origins of cold opens. It's going to have stuff that doesn't make sense with the lore.
Should have AI write it.
Who, the basketball player?
How many times can we make that joke before?
Every single time until I fucking die. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Nerd Soup Podcast. I am Bo Oliver, joined here today with Aaron, the Nerd Soup Monkey, and we are back. After a brief hiatus, we had a lot of things to take care of in terms of, our personal lives, but we're here now. We had a first birthday party, right? Happy birthday to Amelia, Teddy's daughter. She is now 1.
I actually had fun.
It was a good party.
I know, because they had like the children's entertainers.
Clowns.
Yeah. And I was just
New age clowns. They weren't traditional honk, red nose, but...
No, but, you know...
They did a good job. I thought they put on a good show for the kids.
Put on Baby Shark. Winnie the Pooh came out.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
He's free domain now, he's public domain, so.
What if they got the wrong Winnie the Pooh? They got the horror Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah, the horror Pooh. He starts just killing everybody.
No, I was making backstories for all the clowns. It was fucking hilarious. To me.
I didn't hear that.
You weren't sitting close enough.
I was sitting right next to you. Were you whispering the backstory and you're like your tape recorder? New idea.
I was just like saying like this is like one of the guys' name was Biscuit.
Oh yeah, Biscuit. He was running the show.
No, he was Winnie the Pooh. But I'm
okay.
Like yeah, like does he turn it on for some games? Like does Playoff Biscuit come out sometimes where he just has an excellent show for these kids?
I thought he played well. Yeah, better first half than second half.
Hey, the balloon animals. That's a good skill to have.
Yeah, that's always I'd like that skill.
Whip it up.
Create something, yeah.
Made me a hat.
I thought it was a crown.
I don't want to, because then it makes it sound like I asked the guy to make me a crown. That's not what happened.
You quite literally, no, I was there for that. I heard that. You said, hey, Hyrie, can you tell your kid to go make me a crown?
Yeah, I was joking. No, I said, get me a balloon animal. I was like, what do you want? I'm like, maybe like a little hat or something.
I feel like you did use the word crown.
Yeah. I use crown.
Why are you so against crown? What are you trying?
Well, I didn't want to make it out to be like I was the king of the party.
Okay, well, I was going to say there were 2 coronations over the weekend, you and Chuck. Yeah. And we're back to talk about the world of Hollywood. We have a new trailer, Dune. Remember all caps when you spell Dune name. The writer's strike, which we teased at the beginning. And, of course, U.S. weekend box office, everybody's favorite topic. Speaking of what you prefer and what you like about this podcast, you can still fill out our audience survey in the description box down below.
We should sell that segment. U.S. Weekend Box Office presented by...
Nobody. As they do on TNT.
Well, we gotta sell it.
Right, okay. Well, you want to buy it right now? You want to Venmo me?
How much?
For that type of spot? I mean, that's a big spot. Actually, I've been saying that people don't like it, so it'd be hard to wring some money out of you. Just give me $5. I don't know.
Deal.
I'll put it on a ridiculous parlay. And follow us on social media, at NerdSoup, at BoSoup, at NerdSoupMonkey. We're actually giving away some mugs on the NerdSoup Instagram, so go follow us there, and you can have a chance to win a very special edition mug, limited edition, that actually has the Aaron Lannister sticker design on it. So it's pretty cool, and it's got an orange handle. I'll put it, look, it's on screen. Look at that, movie magic. You're looking for it, but it's in the box, sorry.
Yeah.
Should have put it on the table. You could have spun it around. Little 180.
I could promote it, like me drinking out of it. This could be you. If you win.
Yeah, slurp sounds. It's called voice acting. You can just voice it. Oh, goodness gracious. Yeah, so do that. And what else? Do we have anything else to plug? Oh, Patreon. We have, Patreon podcasts. So that's cool. Fan Question Podcast, Bo Oliver Podcast. I actually had a special guest on this weekend.
Who?
Just kidding.
Oh.
I was gonna say, I don't know why. I was going to say Bernie Sanders. And then I was going to hope you did a Sanders impression. These little women, all they care about, playing piano and putting on little doll shows.
And dying.
Yo, rest in peace, man.
Yeah, that was a sad one.
Eliza Scanlon, shout out. Well, let's just get into today's show. Dune Part 2 trailer. Didn't watch it.
Really?
Did you?
Like, not until today.
Yeah, no, I'm swearing off trailers.
Yeah?
But I figured with Dune, I know it so well, and based on the images that I saw, I don't want to watch it.
It wasn't like a super, like you didn't really get much out of it. You got some things, but like anyone who kind of, even off of the first movie, saw where it was heading, like I think a lot of what they showed was pretty much, yeah, this is what we expected to happen. Nothing I would say that really takes away from or gives away too much. And I think they did the same thing well in the first trailer. There were a couple of interesting things. that like stuck with me was like the black and white sequences. I wonder how that's going to be used within the film, what the reasoning is behind it.
But yeah, it is really two stories within one, because you have that time in the desert. Obviously, we know where it's going with Paul and Jessica and what they were doing at the end of the first movie and how that changes them, how that transformed them. You know, the characters, their outlooks on everything. So I'm excited to see Zendaya get some more screen time, because I think that she's such an important character.
Yeah.
And you don't get much of her in the first movie, so I'm excited to see what she does with that role. And Chalamet, you know, he's become a heartthrob, one of the biggest actors on the planet right now. It's easy to hate on him, and I have seen that on the internet, but I think that he's a phenomenal talent. And I think his performance as Paul Atreides in the first one was super underrated, because a lot of the talk was Momoa and Rebecca Ferguson, and just the movie in general, that it was so well done. But I think specifically his performance, the way that he was able to bring Paul to life, was really fun. And it was weird. And I think I like that about him, that, yeah, he's a pretty boy and he's a big star, but he wants to be in these stories where he gets to play freaky little guys, like in Bones and All. And Paul Atreides fits that bill, so Paul Atreides.
Just reminded me of something when he said people are starting to hate Chalamet. It's not related to him, but it's like not a rant, but I'll get to it later.
Tease the rant.
It's not a rant, because now it's not a rant because I teased it. If it was organic, that would be considered a rant. But you know, just your basic film Twitter fare that I've been seeing, and it's annoying. But as far as doing
about Tar, it seems like every week some idiot on Twitter has to go, everyone seems to like Tar, but I didn't like it, so I'm gonna rewatch it and see if I like it. Still don't like it.
Yeah,
it's like, yo, that's fine. I'll never understand this obsession that people get with other people liking a movie. Well, they're not trying to tell you that it's... Well, yeah, going back to Dune.
I'll just do it now. It's the Taika Waititi takes I see a lot. And I'm not I'm not like the biggest Taika fan. Like, I do very much enjoy his movies, but I'm not like a diehard ride or die type. But like, yeah, Thor: Love and Thunder stunk. Now he can't make any movie ever again.
Yeah, yeah. Well, in his new trailer, he put the joke, loser of Best Picture.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, well, you won for screenwriting. You can't make that joke. And it's like, yo, that's a joke that is specifically for film Twitter, because once again, Taika's only famous on the internet. My mom doesn't know who Taika is.
Yeah.
So I can understand rolling your eyes at it, but it's the vitriol that gets directed towards him. And you know what it has to do with? He's a good-looking guy. And he was having a threesome on set of Thor: Love and Thunder with Tessa Thompson and Rita Ora. I really think a lot of it stems back to that, or stems from that.
Make one bad movie, forget Jojo Rabbit, forget Hunt for the Wilder People, forget the other Thor movie that everyone liked, but now...
No, that's not good anymore, yeah.
And there's another... I forgot. I saw that too. It's another director. Same fucking thing. And it's just like...
Hitchcock?
Yeah, he's getting a lot of heat lately. No, but it's like, people just are so reactionary to like what either the latest thing was or
Roman Polanski.
Yeah, no. I don't know. It's just annoying. If the Dune 2 sucks and Villeneuve, like, it's not a great movie, maybe it's 60% on Rotten Tomatoes, then we're gonna be like, oh, every next Villeneuve project, it's like, yeah, you forget his track record. Maybe not with him, because I don't think he's hated or comes off as unlikable, but it seems like that happens with some people where you just kind of forget their previous work.
He loves Kubrick, and this is a good thing. He mimics a lot of Kubrick's style. So he gets similar detractors, where they say his movies are too cold, don't have enough heart, but it's a matter of preference. Not everybody's going to like Denis, and especially the amount of claim that he's gotten over the years, where so many people are ready to put him on that pedestal of best sci-fi director of all time. And when you look at the filmography and you put it up against other directors that made sci-fi films and sci-fi epics, he can go pound for pound with anybody. Yeah. So this may solidify it for a lot of people. And naturally, you're going to get some pushback, because that always happens when you get praise. People love to tear you down after you've been built up.
I think it looked great from the trailer. I mean, obviously they teased it and talked about how it's going to be more of a war movie. And it's like we know it's already shot all in IMAX. So I think visually, technically, I think you're only going to expand on what you established in the first movie, and that was pretty fucking remarkable. Story-wise, I think that's where a lot of the people who maybe didn't love Dune or pointed out some flaws had to do in that regard. So we'll see how they adapt this part 2. But I mean, I liked the first one more than you. It was one of my favorite movies of the year, so I'm really excited for this one.
Yeah, and it's definitely a movie that grew on me, and I liked it after I first watched it. I thought it had some problems. I don't think it's flawless, but I've watched it a few times now, and I like it more each rewatch. And I saw some people on Twitter say that it looks like he's embracing some of the weirder aspects of the book that people thought may have been left out because it wasn't a huge success, but it made a profit, and they're hoping that this one is going to do better, and I think it will because people are now more familiar with it, and you've got the star power. Zendaya is huge. I was going to say Paul Atreides is huge. Chalamet is huge. So that's cool. I love when you can trick audiences that way. I wish Hollywood would do that more. A show like Euphoria, where it's got the attention of every 15 to 24-year-old in America. Wouldn't it be great if it was good? Like, yeah, the first half of the season's going to be your traditional bullshit that's going to draw the kids in. But then we're going to give you something actually, that's well put together and memorable and good, as I said. So I think that's going to be a fun part of Dune Part 2. And just like the book, the second half of the book does get a little stranger, talking about human beings riding giant sandworms. And I heard that in the trailer you do get a look at that, right?
You see him ride the worm. Everyone's like, whoo.
Yeah, watching that in IMAX, that's going to be a transcendent experience, like the first one was. I mean, the visual language of that film, you can't criticize it whatsoever. Like you said, that's definitely the main appeal. So I think that's only going to get better in Part 2.
Yeah, and obviously, like you said, I mean, also adding Florence Pugh, Austin Butler, getting a look at them in their roles.
Not many shots, but you do have that one with Butler screaming, right?
He looks fucking terrifying, man.
Did you see that meme of Kendall Roy as Paul Atreides?
No.
He's like, so what? We gotta pump the spice?
I did see that.
Lawrence Arabia this whole thing? White Savior this whole thing?
He really does just be making shit up. I'm a weird guy, so like in my head I made a mashup of Unforgivable when he's Dr. Zhivago. I created this scenario where it's like Kendall trying to ask Roman to watch a movie night, and he's just that guy from that YouTube video. I'm not gonna do it here, but in my mind, it worked pretty well. I was cracking myself up.
You know who you are sometimes? You're that meme of the girl when she's got the ice cream box on her head, and the caption's like, "I'm so weird."
Oh, yeah. No, yeah, that is crazy.
The writer's strike, so you can write it out.
You going into the frozen food aisle, put something on your head?
No, that chick was out of control. I hope somebody did something about that.
But I was locked in on that thought, and doing the voices in my head for a good 2 hours, and it's nothing I could make, nothing I can recreate, or nothing I can do. It was just for my own personal enjoyment to pass time. I might just be a psychopath.
You should take one of those quizzes. You can figure it out rather quickly.
I always get Hufflepuff. It makes me upset.
That's actually a great joke.
Thank you. They don't need writers.
Yeah, right off the cuff, man. Those stinking writers with their fair pay.
3%? Are they kidding me? I was thinking about that. 3% is fucking nothing compared to what these studios bring in and what they waste money on, and how they're just so free to just scrap ideas, write it off, but not really care about the people who are actually basically the reason why you have a streaming service or you have a studio.
Yeah, no, there's definitely a lot to talk about when it comes to that shit, but some of the demands, quote unquote, you would think that they're asking for the sun and the stars and the entire world, and it's just like, we might not want to be replaced by AI.
Mm-hmm.
And the studios are like, we'll get back to you on that. No, we're not going to exploit you anymore because we're not going to hire you.
They go to ChatGPT. It's like, how should we handle this writer strike?
It's so disturbing because I think it's season 3 of Barry, when the lead actress is pitching her show to one of these streaming services, and they're like, after one day the algorithm said that this show is not going to be popular, so we had to cancel it. And they're just slaves to the algorithm.
But you know what it is? Obviously with growing technology, not even AI and shit like that, but with streaming and not being able to fairly figure out residuals, basic things that are always cemented into what the industry was, how it worked. You get picked up for syndication. That's why Seinfeld, you know how much money Seinfeld sold for their rights? And they play it on their networks, which brings viewers in, which helps them sell advertisers. And the people who worked on that show who are driving in that audience get residuals. Streaming, it's, that kind of put a little wrench into that model, but you can't tell me there's no way to fairly figure out what is owed and what should be done concerning that.
Right. Well, it's always technology, it's Pandora's box. So they always say that whatever happens to these other industries always happens to music first. So music was the first to go digital. Then you saw it with movies. Then music was the first to go with streaming. Now you're seeing it with movies as well. And the music industry, it's unfortunate that they have no sort of union in order to strike and get fairly compensated for the shit that they've been putting on Spotify and Apple Music.
Kind of have that somewhat figured out more so than the film industry. Obviously, in the beginning with Napster and shit like that, they were just getting their shit stolen. But now...
Really?
What do you mean?
Based on what they get from these streaming services?
What, the film?
No, musicians.
Well, they have, like... I feel like it's easier
like WWE.
Easier to track now with monthly payments and subscribers and views and listens. I mean, you see people all the time who blow up on Spotify and just make money that way through like their music and don't really have to go to traditional route of releasing albums, having a studio backing and stuff like that.
Who?
The SoundCloud rappers or like Spotify.
I don't know how much money they're raking in. Most musicians
from
these
streams.
days.
Oh, it's not
you're making
not everybody.
Right, not everybody.
The bigger artists though, like that's been a way for them to at least.
Sure, yeah, no, Drake's fine.
But I'm saying from where they started though, it's taken this long to even get to that point here. And right. I think with streaming movies and television,
are you saying that musicians were fucked so heavily at the beginning that at the very least they're
like they have something in place? It's like they kind of adapted to the latest technology and how people are consuming their content. I'm sure it's not perfect. I mean, but with television now, it's kind of just happened overnight, and not overnight, but now everyone has a streaming service, and that's kind of the model in which the industry is going and what they're catering towards. I feel like there just hasn't been an effort to kind of catch up in that regard and what it means for the people working on these projects.
Right, and people always say life isn't fair. Capitalism, it's all about making as much money as you can and exploiting people as far as you can for as long as you can without them fighting back. And that's what you're seeing here, because they know what's fair. They know what these writers and these workers deserve, and they know how the industry has changed. As you said, everything has gone to streaming, so you're not getting the traditional 18, 20, 24 episode seasons. You're getting 8 episodes, 10 episodes, 12 episodes. That's half the work. And as you said, with syndication, these shows aren't being sold to networks to be replayed over and over and over again. They're staying put on one streaming service, so you don't have to pay residuals. And it's like every industry where the top guys are going to be fine. Somebody like Mike Flanagan, he's going to be able to make his money because he's director, writer, producer, showrunner Mike Flanagan. But the average writer who's working paycheck to paycheck, who is a part of the working class, and I think that gets lost with these types of discussions. It's hard to convince people to be pro player when it comes to athletes. But look at the end credits for your favorite movie or your favorite show. Do you think all those people are millionaires? They're not. They're not living this luxurious lifestyle of Hollywood mansions and Ferraris and traveling to film festivals and going to premieres. As I said, these people are working paycheck to paycheck. It's actual work for them. I'm not saying that the other people, Mike Flanagan's actually working too, but it's work that you would associate with like an everyday person, a 9 to 5 essentially. And these studios, they're trying to push them out into, as one of the picketers said, that they want to turn us into Uber drivers. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, but that's essentially what they want these writers to be, is gig workers.
Yeah, and it's weird too, not weird, but all right, so any comedy you watch, like you have your lead writers, right? Someone like Jason Sudeikis who writes, acts, directs, executive producer, all that. But just the writer's room, how many people are in that room? Like you said,
right.
There's no way that, some of these, I don't know the exact number, but, it's not just one person or two people writing these scripts they go through, especially with comedies. Even shows like SNL, these variety shows, the late night shows and stuff like that, they have a team that is just constantly working pretty much every day to try to come up with new material.
Right, yeah, we've seen those shows have gone off the air. They're already doing the reruns. But George R. R. Martin had posted on his blog, he was going after the concept of mini rooms. So it's a writer's room of writers, maybe 2 or 3 with a showrunner, that are being hired by these streaming services to basically flesh out a full season of a series that hasn't been greenlit. So the process used to be you would pitch your pilot, you would get greenlit, and you would have a job for a season. That was your job in the writer's room, a guarantee that you would be paid. But with these mini rooms, sometimes you're doing more work than you used to do because you have to flesh out a full season because it's something based on IP that has lore that you have to sort out. And then that show doesn't even get ordered to a series. So you did all of that work. You didn't get paid as much because it's not an official writer's room. It's a mini room. And then you have no job after that because the series wasn't picked up, because all these streaming services are obsessed with the idea of ordering shows that are going to be successful. Once again, it's an antithesis to how Hollywood has worked for a long time, where, yeah, you can know that certain things are going to do well because of some star power. But so many of the great movies and series have came out of risks. We always talk about it. Lord of the Rings. No studio wanted to touch it. And the first studio that did made a $1 billion franchise. And now they're still trying to milk that bitch out.
Yeah.
So these are the things that they're going to have to sort out, and we'll see how long it lasts. I mean, the last writer's strike was 100 days, which is the third of the year, and we saw the repercussions. We mentioned it in the beginning. Wolverine Origins, that was a victim of the writer's strike. Quantum of Solace. I don't know who, I'm pretty sure Daniel Craig is an uncredited writer for that movie. And he said it, in his interview, I'm not a writer. So you're going to see more of that.
Well, you see some shows now still going into production because the script is completed, but what about how many changes and rewrites and stuff that happens throughout the filming process that you're not going to have? Or you are, but it's going to be written by people who are not writers.
Right, and Tony Gilroy was saying that there's no such thing as a non-writing producer. That if you're working as a producer on set, you're also a writer. Because, as you said, scripts get revised, things get touched up. So it's impossible for him to work as a showrunner without also being a writer.
Right. You see House of the Dragon's going, they're starting to film.
Yeah, they're in the middle of filming, right? And they've said that all the scripts have been written and have been revised. But you never know, dude, up until that last day of production, what you're going to need to change, what you need to go into touch up. And that has been a bit unclear as to who's running the show now.
It'll be hilarious.
They haven't came out and said that Condell is staying on set.
Yeah. It would be hilarious, though, if they do shoot it, and, maybe they just had to do one scene they had to rewrite, and it's just so blatantly obvious that it's written by somebody else that it just sticks out. It's just modern-day dialogue. Slang has been... I feel like it's something new every day. I don't like it. It's hard to keep up. Cap, I was good at, but, I don't know, Riz, I think that's just being forced. A lot of it's being forced. Where does it come from? I don't think anything is organic anymore. It's just something that shows up on the internet that everyone uses because they think it's cool now.
Isn't that language?
Yeah, but I feel like it was cooler back in the day. And there's just better alternatives to that.
What's a better alternative to Riz?
Just game. Keep it simple.
Yeah. I do like game. Yeah, he's got good game.
Yeah. Serving cunt? Where did that come from?
No, that one's a bit too aggressive for me. Yeah, I don't like that. It's mosely women who use it because men can't use it. I'll give you a pass for saying it, but it was just so naturally,
What, serving cunt?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I would even feel weird saying it.
Well, if I was British,
I can only say I could say it in the when you're reviewing House of the Dragon or Game of Thrones, you're allowed to say that word as an American. No cure for being a cunt.
See that words.
That is such a great fucking back and forth, man. When Bron's like, can't help to get some of the poison out. Oh, season 2, top 2, not 2. Yeah, with House of the Dragon, as we said, it's still in production, still filming, but I think The Rings of Power has been halted.
Good.
Blade, a movie that just can't get off the ground, has been halted as well. So you're going to see that throughout Hollywood. Not immediately, but it's going to be the films that maybe come out in late 2024 that may be impacted, or the films that don't come out, or the shows that don't come out and get delayed. But it is unfortunate, just going through some of the demands that they did have. The one about AI, the fact that they wouldn't even counteroffer. They essentially said, we're going to educate you on how we're going to approach AI, and that's something that can be discussed later down the line. When you're hearing about studios wanting to use AI to write scripts and then hire writers to touch them up, that's why they're striking right now, because you're trying to basically push writers out.
I mean, history tells us, though, that that's the way it's going to go. And that's eventually going to happen. Maybe to not the full extent where AI is just writing full scripts, but I mean, in every industry, technology has taken over. And there's pushback at first, many probably factory workers started to strike once all this advanced technology in terms of machinery took over and put a lot of people out of work, but we never went back. Self-checkout lines, no one taking your order at McDonald's. We complain and people get upset, but it's not going anywhere. It's just continuing to spread. So I don't think it's to look at it and say that that's not going to be a possibility 20 years down the future where that is a huge part of what is being written. Then I don't think that's going to be the case. It sucks. And I think there's certain things that can't replicate human experience, personal background, personality when it comes to writing. But
I also don't, I think that a lot of consumers don't even care about that. When you pitch people on the idea, the average consumer who doesn't love movies, hey, you can feed your computer, I want to watch a movie based on this comic starring these actors, starring Chris Pratt and Margot Robbie. Hans Zimmer does the score, and Greg Fraser does the cinematography. Put that into my brain. You pitch that to people, and they're like, hell yeah. I don't have to wait for the things that I want to see. I can watch whatever.
I'll touch up the cast a little bit. Yeah, that kind of sounds dope.
Well, remember, I'm doing the average person.
Okay. Yeah.
Your cast, it would be Bernie Mac, and no, that'd be Teddy. Oh, can you do the Bernie Mac show, but infinite amount of episodes?
No, it is crazy. At what point do we limit technology just to keep the structure that we've always known? Obviously, in our world, what we talk about, and with the current strike, you do kind of put it into terms of, movies and scripts and everything, but, spread that out across everyday life in terms of, schools and medicine and things of that nature.
Right, yeah. I was actually, one of our listeners was visiting New York City, and I happened to be at the city at the same time. So we met up for a quick drink. Shout out to Muhammad. And we were talking about AI, and he was saying, lawyers are going to be able to cut back on how many people they hire because you're going to be able to feed the AI, I need this law, I need this specific thing, and they can pop it out in seconds. So you don't need some intern to get real specific with it. Yeah. Feed it information and figure out which is the best way to counter the argument or find a loophole. So it's not going to only be the entertainment industry. I mean, the certain industries that could use it, when you hear, when you talk about the medical industry using AI, I'm all for it, right? That's seems practical. Cure us.
It is. It's interesting. I don't know enough about it. I'm kind of just letting it happen and see what happens and go from there. But right now, I think we're at the point, I see it on Twitter all the time. It's like, you're not going to believe it, but AI made this. And I'm like, yeah, the guy has 7 fingers. But eventually, this is what only started to be, I guess, the news cycle or people
in terms of the news cycle, but artists have been using it for almost 10 years now. I was listening to a podcast about a musical artist, I can't remember her name, but she was arguing for AI because she doesn't take, other people's voices, or she's not trying to mimic anybody else. She likes to distort her own voice and use AI to, different pitches, different tones and stuff like that.
And I mean, a lot of the things you see, all right, they make a fake movie trailer or they do a Photoshop of, Trump running from the police when that never happened, and people are like, this could be scary, they could, pretty soon it's going to be indistinguishable from real life. We kind of have that already with good Photoshop and CGI.
Or just applying quotes to people all the time, dude. When they do it with the white basketball players, they'll misquote them saying something that they shouldn't be saying.
Yeah.
And you see all the comments on Instagram, did he really fucking say that? So that's it right there. It's not even you don't even need a picture to fool people. So that's the least of my worries, is people being fooled by AI. That's already happening, like you said, dude. Fucking Orson Welles, when he went on the radio and told everyone there was an alien invasion, people started rioting in the streets. You don't need AI to fool people. When it comes to artistically, the Wes Anderson Star Wars has been the big one going around. And it's just to your point, there's some things that AI can't replicate. I'm like, this isn't done by Wes Anderson. This is nothing like a Wes Anderson movie because it's symmetrical.
But someone could have made that before AI.
Yeah.
Just a lot more time, a lot more effort, right?
Right.
I guess it's quicker, less resources, but that's nothing like the Pope in the Funny Jacket.
Puffer.
Yeah. Boss Logic could have whipped that up if he wanted to.
Yeah, BL's got that in his belt.
So like things like that, I don't think, or maybe it's just more just the expedited process. But yeah, it's weird. Let's see what happens. I'm 100% gonna be Team Machine though if they ever try to pull it over on us.
Well, that's why where we think technology is heading. And so there's always a twist on it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everything's AI is going to come to life and destroy us. But I think it's been overstated how good the AI actually is. It's still like an advanced version of, like you said, Google or whatever bullshit.
No, I think you're underestimating them if they're listening.
Dude, if we created the thing that destroys us, that would just be hilarious. Like what?
Poetry.
I'm constantly in an existential crisis. You know, what is a robot going to do to me?
I'm playing both sides. So I'm going to like hype up AI now. So when they hear this back, when they take over, kind of like I'll never say a bad word about like BTS.
Oh, right.
Because I don't want that smoke.
Or the Beehive.
Yeah. So like.
Yeah, you're a coward.
Yeah.
It's hard to say where this is going, Duke. George R. R. Martin said in his blog, hopefully it can be resolved next week. I think he was being facetious, obviously, but at least it gives him time to focus on his fucking book.
All right, stupid question. Writers have a union. Like, let's say Netflix wants to meet the demands, but Warner's doesn't. Like,
so they have a firm representing a lot of the major studios.
Okay.
Yeah. Essentially, all these studios and all these companies are going to be on the same page. And the union, it's the Writers Guild of the East and the Writers Guild of the West, and they're represented by the Writers Guild of America. Right. So the two unions collaborate mostly on strikes.
And unions are good, right? Pro-union.
I mean, I'm pro-union. They're not flawless. That's the thing in this country. If you're ever pro something, it's like, well, you know, this union sucks and this union has problems. And it's like, sure, of course they do. But I'm way more pro-union than I am pro-let the company decide everything.
Sure, of course. And I do think, like, the idea and everything is great. But, like, movies, or especially, like mafia movies, that's what when I was like younger and didn't really know what unions were. That's what I associated unions with.
Oh,
like,
yeah, Teamsters.
Like, oh, they're on the mob side. They can't be good.
Well, no, I mean, Teamsters did a lot for workers in this country. Yeah. Even though Hoffa was a scumbag.
But it's like you didn't know. It's just like, oh, well, I just associate that with the mob, and I hear they're bad. Right. Or it's like back in the day, even further behind. It's like, oh, you're in a union, you're a communist, you're dead.
Right. Yeah. No, that propaganda's
I know.
It's unbeatable.
But yeah, I mean, even when baseball, football, basketball, hockey, sports I like.
Talk about a sport that needs a union, the NFL players.
Yeah. But like every time they do have a union dispute, you like it's the same thing. Like I mean, not everybody. I think people forget like who you're arguing for and against at this point. But the players are the product. They deserve certain things, and at the end of the day, when you're going up against billionaire owners, it's like, yeah, you side with the players every time.
I'll never understand though the people who are anti-player. All of a sudden they become communists, where they don't even realize everyone's such a cold hard capitalist. You do what you can to make as much money as you can. And when the players say, hey, we're based on the numbers, we're worth way more than this, everyone goes, well, you're already a millionaire. How much do you need? All of a sudden, everybody becomes a communist. I'll never understand that about this country. It's the same thing with bigger markets versus small markets. Everyone's a cold, hard capitalist until the Milwaukee Bucks can attract a superstar. Then everyone's got to be on an even playing field. And Europe, it's the complete opposite. They're all communists, but their sports are cutthroat.
Yeah.
Like, it's only the major markets that could ever compete. It's Barcelona and Real Madrid every fucking season.
See, now that you mention it, revenue sharing, why do the Yankees have to pay for the Royals? Get fans.
Yeah, no, for some reason, sports, it's communism. It's just so funny, dude. But like I said, with the writers, I think a lot of people lose. You're seeing comments, why is Christopher Nolan striking? Why doesn't he just take a pay cut? He's worth $250 million. Once again, Christopher Nolan is director, writer, producer, executive producer, creator.
It is like, I think, it's not I'm not like defending the studios or anything, but like when it comes to the NBA and NFL, when you see like the constant ratings go up and the more money they make and they still resist on certain things when they're players in a perpetually growing business. But you got to imagine the movie industry is taking a huge hit lately. So it might be that might hurt the writers and the strike's chances just because of how things have been going of late, where it's like...
Yeah, but it never hits those executives.
Sure, of course. And I'm
never
saying,
does.
and when you talk about 3%, like, let's say one of the writers, what do you think the median income is?
I'm not sure,
Let's just
but
say 100 because it's cleaner. 100 to 103. That's one of the... That's really what you were gonna...
But then you also have to factor in where they're living, right? Because a lot of these writers are going to be based in LA, and the cost of living is much higher there than it is in other places in the country. But that is a good point. I think with sports, it's just more egregious because it's also blatant. You know, we see these contracts going up. We see the TV contracts specifically going up, and the revenue going up, and the valuation going up.
You talk about it all the time with, like, the way they spend their money. Why are you giving Robert Downey Jr. $50 million for a movie? And it trickles down because that's, I think a lot of debates we have around that is when we talk about supporting actors not being able to, or just budget in general and what they put their resources into. I think in that regard, maybe studios could be a little smarter and kind of do that and pay attention to where they're throwing their money. Yeah, it's not just the writers. It's really a industry, global problem. But when you think about, you know, even what Sydney Sweeney talked about a year ago, and she was getting clowned on for, but like in reality, like I think she made a lot of valid points. Like a lot of actors that don't have the name recognition, you know, are in a way paycheck to paycheck or job to job, where, you know, they got this movie, this role, but now they need their next one.
Well, yeah, we will keep an eye on that, and we'll see how that all plays out and how it affects the industry on this podcast. So, but we're going to move on here to U.S. weekend box office. So, number one, no surprise, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Domestically, it came in with 118 million, not dollars. And worldwide, it's already at 318 million. So, people thought that this one wasn't going to do as well based on the previous few Marvel movies, but the Guardians name, the actors in Guardians have only gotten more popular. Chris Pratt, Dave Bautista, you know, Bradley Cooper's playing a raccoon, but he's still famous. I think people know that he's the raccoon. So I'm not surprised that it did this well, and we'll see how high it continues to climb. Number two was the Super Mario Brothers movie, which made another 18 million. Domestically, it's up to 518, and worldwide, it's at 1.162 billion. Damn. So they got coins for days. They're not stressing. Evil Dead Rise was number 3 with 5.8 million, and its domestic total is 54. Worldwide, that's over 100 at 115 million. So if people in Hollywood want to make more money, they should just only make horror movies.
Yeah.
Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. This is getting great reviews. I'm actually really excited to see this. That domestically made 3.2 million. Domestic total is at 12, and worldwide it's at 12 again. And number 5 was Love Again. This was a romantic comedy starring Priyanka Chopra and Celine Dion. What the fuck? I see you, girl. Domestically, 2.3. Worldwide, it's at 2.4. I wonder which country saw Love Again. It's definitely France. Sounds like a French movie. But yeah, Guardians, we haven't seen it, but I think we're planning to do... What's the plan with that? What do you want to do?
Go Thursday, maybe?
Okay.
Is the next play tomorrow?
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do like a spoiler discussion. We'll ask for questions, Marvel-related MCU questions. Everything I've heard about this movie is that it's the best of the trilogy.
Oh, yeah,
it does a great job wrapping it up.
I love the Guardians. I think the first one's easily top 5 MCU for me. The second one I still enjoyed a lot, but I don't think it's quite to that first standard. But yeah, this was one of the only Marvel movies I've been looking forward to. So I think saying a lot too that I still haven't seen it yet, that being the case, but it just doesn't have that same pull for me anymore.
Yeah, I was wondering if other people would feel that way and if that would be reflected in the box office, but just based on how much money it made and based on people logging it on Letterboxd, I'm like, oh no, people were excited for this one. But I had tickets to go see Memoria, third time seeing it in theaters, a movie that's only playing in theaters. It's never coming out on streaming. Bought these tickets weeks ago, and there was a Q&A after it with the director, Peach Pong, where Rasay Thakul, really sweet guy, very humble, unassuming, and he had a lot of insightful things to say. So I wasn't able to see it that Thursday or Friday because I went to go see 2 movies back to back. And then I saw Kelly Reichardt's showing up on Saturday. So it wasn't like I wasn't at the movies, but just wasn't watching Guardians. Yeah. I don't know, what were you doing? What's your excuse?
Just waiting for you.
Fair enough. Hey, I'd recommend going to see Showing Up, man, if it's out around you. Did you ever watch First Cow?
That's the
Where they steal the cow milk and they make little cakes?
It was the last year?
2019.
Okay. No, I don't think I saw that one.
I think you'd like First Cow.
Yeah.
I think you'd enjoy it.
I mean, Mario making $1 billion, that's kind of... We always thought it would do well, but... Billion Club?
No, that was unexpected. Yeah, I thought it would do well, but you really don't know sometimes with these kids' movies how well they're going to pop, and that's awesome, because I love Nintendo so much, and it's cool that it's passed down through generations, you know?
But it is weird, because like when you think of kids today, you don't really think Mario.
No, you don't, but they still got the Nintendo, man.
Yeah.
They play all those fucking games.
Like even the Minecraft movie, I think, is that even ever coming out? It's like, I don't think that's going to do well. I don't think
this writer strike? No way.
I don't think a Fortnite movie would do well. Just Mario. You got to get that mass appeal.
Yeah, no,
At the
definitely.
end of the day, the parents are buying the tickets. So if you can get them invested, if the strike like ends tomorrow, what happens? Everything's back to normal?
Yeah, essentially. Well, before we actually go to fan questions, you want to talk about the Oppenheimer trailer? Did you watch this trailer?
Yeah, I saw the trailer.
Okay, I didn't, because I'm actually reading the book, so I just want to wait for the movie.
Oppenheimer?
Yeah, it's actually called American
Your old
Prometheus.
textbook?
We talked about this. It's his biography, American Prometheus.
Nothing you can't get out of Wikipedia?
I mean, it's the nitty gritty. It's the day to day. What was Oppie doing? What made him tick? His favorite shows? How did he like his coffee?
Black.
Big womanizer.
Yeah.
Yeah, they said that in the trailer. Genius makes up for a lot. That's my most anticipated movie for the rest of the year.
Really?
Yeah, because I'm such a history nerd, but I love how serious he's taking it. It's so dramatic.
People are going to get tricked into a 3-hour movie of talking.
That's why I love Nolan sometimes.
Who has terrible sound design when it comes to audio.
Yeah, I'm not going to touch that because people get really mad when you complain one way or the other, but...
I mean dialogue. His sound design is actually very good.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. I love the sounds that he designs.
Some of the dialogue, though.
I'm holding out that this is going to be a alternate history, and we're going to see the fellows from Tenet. Not only are we going to see Pattinson and John David Washington, but we're going to see Aaron Taylor Johnson, too. It's going to be the three of them. Like Oppenheimer, we need you.
To do what?
To fight the war against the future. It's a civil war between the past and the future.
I still don't understand Tenet.
You don't remember that? I think they said, remember there was that walk and talk with the scientists in Germany when she said when Oppenheimer experimented with the bomb, he sort of opened up time travel.
Two things. One, no one saw Tenet.
You saw it in Connecticut.
New Jersey.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Shout out to Jersey. Yeah, nobody saw Tenet. Should have kept it in the vault for one more year.
Why are movies open in Jersey? Not COVID. Weird
that was
time.
2020, dude.
Yeah.
That Tenet dropped.
So no one saw Tenet. No one got Tenet. No one who's seen going to see Oppenheimer saw Tenet. They're going to be very confused.
They'd be very confused.
And also, they're going to make a sequel from a movie from Warner Brothers. Now that Universal picked them up, that's going to be their first movie.
Oh, that fucks it. Yeah, that ruins it. Oh, that's not fun. Well, I do hope that they're not romanticizing Oppenheimer, where this was essential in order for the U.S. to defeat the Nazis, because it wasn't.
Well, I like the way they play. Like, that's a fun concept to play with. Sacrifice some for the greater good. I think they did a great job in that with an imitation game, where they have to hold off on giving away that they cracked the code, so the guy's brother on the boat died. Very convenient plot, and a very good movie though. But that instance was a little bit, but like the concept of like, yeah, we got to let them destroy this boat because we can't let them know that we've cracked their code, and we're gonna end up ending the war early and saving all these lives. Like you said, it's not shouldn't be romanticized or.
But I don't even think it's the same. I don't think you can even apply it anymore to the situation of dropping that bomb on Japan.
And also, who is it? Was it Alan Turing or Oppenheimer? They both seem to be given credit for ending the war early and saving all these lives, but would one have happened without the other?
That's every war combination. I don't know. I think Turing was probably a bit more important.
They should fight.
Yeah, epic rap battles of history.
No, I don't think Nolan would like. I don't think that's...
That was very much like, it would be, if they were going to romanticize it, it should be in a satirical way, where it's like you have the line directly to the Japanese emperor and he keeps trying to call and surrender. And they're like, we can't pick that up, we're building a bomb.
I mean...
it's the Japanese emperor, Mr. President. No, stop, put him on hold.
But I feel like
we're at war.
Progressed in a way where, like, in the 70s... Actually, I don't even think in the 70s.
What were you to say?
Like, an Oppenheimer movie would show him to be, like, the fucking...
Oh,
the
like
goat.
he's the... Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, it depends who handled it.
Yeah. That's my big worry with this, but I don't think Nolan will do that. I don't think he's too smart for that, right? You have to think. What'd you think of Albert?
Wasn't he...
He was in the first one.
Who?
Albert Einstein. Everyone's like, oh, this is the first Oppenheimer trailer.
The first movie? What did I miss?
Oppenheimer 1.
No, but Albert just gets people in the seats.
I do love that line. Well, it will ignite the atmosphere.
It was someone had a great tweet. So cool. It was it's like, I can't wait for a scene where it's like, we need to know what E equals. And Oppenheimer's like, I got just the guy. And it cuts if they recruit him like a fucking superhero movie, that'd be so fucking funny.
Yeah.
Putting together a team.
That's really fun.
Gave that up a long time ago, Oppie. I got a wife now and kids. They even got rid of this German accent.
I'm trying to think why he wasn't... There's a reason why he wasn't officially a part of the Manhattan Project. But I know that he did. I think it may have been because he was German, yeah. It's mad racist.
I mean...
Oh my god, it's Albert. Come on, you had to cut him some slack.
He looked good. It looks like him.
No, it straight up just looks like a Albert Einstein.
Someone's in, like, finally they're... a comic realistic. They're adapting a comic realistic.
Yeah,
Albert Einstein.
Ripped him right off the page. He was another one, this Womanizer.
You ever see the Paul Giamatti Albert Einstein for the Verizon commercials?
I thought that could have been an interesting crossover.
One, yeah.
That would be so funny, dude. If the Tenet guys showed up with Paul Giamatti. All right, let's go to fan questions.
That's for the fan to decide.
Yay! People, you call up to the show, you better be ready. That's what you're supposed to do. Sitting there arguing and you're trying to spell your name and all of this other stuff. It's not your show, it's my show. I'm giving you the opportunity to speak your mind. Don't call up here unless you got something to say.
This one here from Shane Lisa. What's up, Shane? What new casting for Dune 2 looks the best? I mean, in terms of looks, it's Leah Sydell. She looks the best, but... I guess what they've done with Austin Butler's cool. It's impressive. Yeah. It's accurate.
I still want to see Walken, though.
Bald head. Right. No, they're saving Walken. They're not going to blow that load. It's not, they should have kept Albert Einstein for the movie for Oppenheimer, but for Walken.
I'm going to clap when Albert comes up.
Yeah. I'm going to clap when Walken comes up, too. Yeah, I think in terms of which character, it's got to be Austin Butler.
Yeah, I'm not sure how any of them are supposed to look, but...
No, they look all pretty accurate.
Yeah.
For the most part. This question here from T. Steph. Starting 5 film composers. Well, point is John Williams. That's obvious.
Oh, like position-wise.
Well, I thought just 5 in general.
So I feel like a composer is a point guard in nature.
Right. No, just 5 point guards.
Yeah.
But I guess your top 5.
You have Hans Zimmer in the G League.
He's Tristan Thompson. He's
Howard Shore. I feel like he's a center.
We don't have to go positions. We could just do 5.
It's funnier this way. Tar. You need a wild card on your team. I know she's not real, but...
Not real. I'm definitely going to put in the Ghibli composer, Joe Hisaishi. His score's so good, so dreamy. Ennio Morricone did all the famous westerns. How does a famous western go? The western. That one, yeah.
He did that?
Yeah, he did that.
Damn.
I like that one.
Angelo Badalamenti.
Oh, right, yeah. He may be there.
R.I.P. Definitely a stretch for.
I like Nino Rota. He did The Godfather. He did a lot of the Fellini movies, Italian composer. So he worked in Hollywood, worked in Italian cinema. The Godfather theme is one of my all-time favorites, dude. I remember Dan Murrell once said that it feels like an heirloom passed down from one generation to the next. I'm like, that's a perfect way to describe that theme. And
Ijuani off the bench.
Oh yeah,
like
dude.
He can get hot.
Or homegrown. That's our Curry, modern player. It's his era.
Nicholas Bertel.
And I can't remember like how many movies he's made that I'll probably like the score for, but I liked James Horner's Avatar score. So
what do you think are like the most iconic sounds? Actually, they were doing this on the radio the other day on Sports Talk. I don't know why, but they were putting up like the most iconic themes of franchises. They forgot Indiana Jones. I actually called, but I couldn't get through.
You were like, this is
because they were
terrible.
they were like, what are we missing here? Because they had the Rocky theme, they had Star Wars, they had
Jurassic Park.
They had Godzilla, which is what song is that? That samples Godzilla theme.
Simon Says. Yeah, Pharaoh Monk.
Think of it too. That
Get the
goes
fuck up.
So fucking hard.
Yeah, it does. The Rocky theme. Who made the Rocky theme?
Sylvester.
I would not put that past him, man. That guy was writer, director.
They had Jaws, right? Just that.
Yeah, John Williams. What
else did they have? But
Bill Conti.
They had some good choices, but they didn't say Indiana Jones. Beverly Hills Cop, that's a good one.
How does that go again?
They played it. I can't really but it was one of those things where I'm like, they said it, I'm like, Beverly Hills Cop, like, what is that? And then they played it. I'm like, oh, fuck yeah. I know what that sound is.
Well, I love the Mission Impossible theme.
And I think that makes it even more iconic, like when you don't even know what it is, or you could never have guessed it in a million years, but then you're like,
right.
I've heard this.
Yeah.
How did I hear this? This is an ad for Cascade.
Oh, that's not as iconic.
No free ads. I mean, the before and after, it looks like this stuff works. But you can never tell with those things.
Oh, you're still on the ad. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Crazy
Beverly
Frog.
Hills Cop.
I always thought it was Crazy Frog. That's where I recognize it from, Crazy Frog. Beverly Hills Cop, Beverly Hills Cop.
Right, those are the iconic lyrics.
Eddie Murphy. Yeah.
Well, Mission Impossible theme or James Bond, which do you think is better? Do-do-do, do-do-do. Versus when they use the James Bond theme, right, it hits so much harder than the Mission Impossible theme.
Yeah, and also like the video game as a kid, and you have that.
Well, the loading screen music. My goodness. The Mario theme is pretty fire.
Jurassic Park is such a good fucking theme.
Yeah, to me that's John Williams' best score. It's between that and obviously Star Wars.
Like when you think Lord of the Rings, what theme do you think of?
Concerning hobbits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's just so many good themes.
Yeah, I'm bad at bringing music to memory. I just don't have the musical mind, so I
just
can't remember.
replicate it. I can like hear it in my head.
Yeah, but I don't remember
Even
much
old friends,
of the
like
Lord of the Rings music. Oh, this is a good question here from Alex. What's one show or movie that you watched as a kid that feels like a fever dream now?
I think I've said this before. James and the Giant Peach, like.
Yeah, you have.
That shit fucked me up, man.
He's a man with a giant peach.
I haven't seen a big ass peach.
Big ass peach. Do you remember that show when it was all the puppet monsters that were like a family? It was really weird.
I mean, Courage the Cowardly Dog, every episode was a fever dream.
Yeah, that is true.
Or Our Real Monsters was very fucking weird. Ed, Edd and Eddy.
I want to go back and rewatch that entire
Dude,
show.
watching with kids watching YouTube nowadays, every time I see it, I'm like, this is the weirdest fucking shit I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, yeah,
What's
there's a lot
wrong
of-
with these children? But then looking back at, like, my parents watching Courage the Cowardly Dog, probably like, what the fuck is this child watching?
It does feel like kids' content has gotten a lot stranger.
Yeah.
It does feel that way.
Return to slab.
I'm trying to think of other movies that I watched that really fucked me up as a kid. Feels like a fever dream.
What was the Power Rangers movie with the purple ooze?
I haven't seen one single Power Rangers movie.
I feel like that was weird.
I'm not a big Rangers guy.
Yeah, like, you didn't have to. It's obvious. Was there a weird Ninja Turtle movies when I was a kid? That's like coming to my head right now.
Oh yeah, definitely. There had to
I
have
feel
been,
like there
right?
was a
Yeah,
weird
yeah.
one, yeah.
Live action, maybe.
Yeah, it was a live action one. But they looked like the animatronics from Chuck E. Cheese.
I'm trying to think of any superhero movies. Well, I used to be obsessed with Beetlejuice as a kid, so looking back on it almost feels...
I didn't watch Beetlejuice.
I used to love Beetlejuice, man. I mean, when he turned into a snake, when, you know, she's walking up the stairs and he becomes like a snake on the thing that... What is that called?
Yeah.
Thing that you hold on to, whatever it is. That shit used to freak me out, dude.
I didn't like Willy Wonka when I was a kid. That shit freaked me out.
Oh, the original?
Yeah.
Yeah. Gene Wilder, man. Greatest actor ever, maybe.
Legit?
He's so fucking funny, dude. It's truly, I don't think there's an actor today that was that dynamic as a performer, but also just that naturally funny. I mean, some of his line deliveries in Willy Wonka and also in you lose. Good day, sir. And Blazing Saddles, come on. Couldn't make Blazing Saddles today because he's dead. The person who asked the question, Alex who asked the question, said that for him it would be Rocket Man. Did you ever see Rocket Man?
No, but
The superhero movie?
it was always a poster of it at the theater I went to.
That's like a cult classic that I've never seen. We'll take a few more here. From Overnight Doorman, has a movie ever been so good you cried a little? Dude, I cry over shitty movies. Movie doesn't have to be good to make me cry. I'll cry over anything.
No, I'm very easily emotionally
I almost
manipulated.
cried over Air. I'm just kidding. Can't even commit. I don't remember anything about that movie. I'm trying to remember the last time I cried over a movie.
I think it's The Whale for
Was it a
me.
show? Oh, I watched Bros. Oh, no, Suzume. That's definitely, the anime that came out. Dude, there's a movie, Broker, 2022 movie, starring the dad from Parasite. The final shot, whenever I think about it, it makes me want to cry. Such a moving final shot. And a great movie, so. That's one that I think that, because I hear that a lot. There are a lot of people out there that never cry during movies. And it's not because they're dead in the inside. It's because people just don't cry watching movies. But the movie has to be really, really good to get that sort of reaction from them. And I think Broker is a movie that can pull some tears from people. Last question here from DK Ribs. What is your favorite Florence Pugh role performance? I mean, it's got to be Midsommar.
Yeah. For someone who's so popular.
She hasn't been in much that's good, right?
What was was it Midsommar, the one that like really got her going?
Yeah, I think so. It was a combination of Midsommar, Little Women, and also Fighting with Your Family.
Okay, yeah, that's actually a decent run. Fighting with Your Family was good. Little Woman's good, and then Midsummer's very good.
Yeah, she got the good exposure.
Okay, so I kind of take that back.
And Don't Worry, Darling
She was good in
critically acclaimed. Yeah, she's had Black Widow.
Yeah, we can forget that. So yeah, Black Widow kind of stunk, and she was good in Don't Worry, Darling.
Apparently, she's in a Lady Macbeth film. It's on Tubi.
Lady Macbeth.
88% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Is she Lady Macbeth?
Yeah, no, she's Lady Macbeth. She's scheming.
What's the difference between Lady Macbeth and Macbeth?
Well, one's a
Not.
Macbeth, the other one's Lady Macbeth.
Yeah.
It's his lady. It's like Lady Stark.
No, I know who Lady Macbeth is. Are they two different stories though?
Oh, I imagine. Yeah, let's see if this is like her own.
It's like a prequel, origin story, or her perspective on all the Macbethan going on.
So this one says the origin is that she's married to a rich industrialist, and he doesn't really like her, so she starts up a passionate and fiery relationship with a young groom.
Titanic.
That's
but
how
Titanic.
are they gonna? Where are the witches? Where's the prophecy?
She on a boat?
No, she's not on a boat. She's in a house.
Well, that's not Macbeth then. So Lady Macbeth is just a different Macbeth. It's her origin.
Yeah, I'm going through the plot here. It seems like they switch some things around here. You know what's a great Macbeth movie? Throne of Blood. Kira Kurosawa. That's a great final
Is it
act.
Macbeth or is it just
it's
based
straight up
off of
Macbeth. But it's samurais.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, guys, that does it for this episode of the Nerd Soup Podcast. Thank you so much for listening, for liking, for sharing, for subscribing, for filling out that user survey, for following us on social media, for a chance to win a mug. For Aaron the Nerd Soup Monkey, I am Bo Oliver signing off. Let's go Knicks. And let's go LeBron.
Yep. Did we even answer that last question?
Yeah, Midsommar.
Oh, it was best Florence Pugh role? Okay.
Yeah. Unless you have something different.
I'm gonna go with Lady Macbeth. Wow, that was probably our best review yet. Hey guys, Aaron the Nerd Soup Monkey here with a brief shameless plug before we end the video. Do you ever feel like you don't have an adequate amount of nerd soup in your life? Like you're going to bed hungry and yearning for the nonsensical yet entertaining nutrients our podcasts provide? Well, we've come up with the perfect solution. The Nerd Soup Fan Question Podcasts, exclusively available to our Patreon supporters. You can sign up now by visiting patreon.com/nerdsoup, and for the price of only $1 per month, you'll receive exclusive access to our weekly podcast where we answer your questions that don't make it to the main show. And while you're there, you can check out the other rewards we offer to our patrons, like stickers, mugs, t-shirts, behind-the-scenes footage, and appearing in the credits at the end of our videos. And that's exactly what we're going to do right now. Roll the names of the nerds who make Nerd Soup possible. The reason why the crypto crash didn't send our lives spiraling down a black hole of no return. Alright, I'll stop talking so you can listen to this jazzy-ass music while checking if Bo spelt your name wrong in the credits.